Cute characters are a dime a dozen, and it seems like every franchise wants to get their own little guy that'll have kids buying toys and moms making memes for years to come. But which one is the cutest of them all? That's what we're here to find out today, and we're going to do it the only way that I know how, by arranging a tournament that 32 adorable combatants will compete in until eventually only one will stand victorious over the rest. That's right, welcome to the Tournament of Cuteness. Round 1. Gizmo from Gremlins versus Abu from Aladdin. Gizmo's giant eyes and even bigger ears are going to give him a big advantage going into this matchup. Abu may look sweet, but the fact that he'll steal and pull a sword on you makes this an easy choice. This round goes to Gizmo. Boo from Monsters Inc. versus Grogu from The Mandalorian. This is going to be a huge upset, and I expect a lot of people to be very mad at me for it. Grogu is undeniably a cute creature, but there is no getting around the fact that he is over 50 years old, eats frogs, and could throw me across the room with the wave of his hand. Put that up against this, and it's really no contest. The Hatchlings from Angry Birds versus the Minions from the Despicable Me series. As iconic as the Minions may be, they can't compete with the Hatchlings from Angry Birds. Their eyes are just too big, and the fluff on their heads puts them over the top. Plus, the Minions have that annoying factor that weighs them down. The Hatchlings are gonna take this one. Blanky from The Brave Little Toaster versus Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. Stitch, or Experiment 626, is a killing machine that just happens to be cute. I mean, come on, at the beginning of the movie, he's on trial for literal war crimes. With an opponent like this, Blanky doesn't have to do much to come out on top. He's sweet, he's adorable, just look at the little guy. The Ewoks from Star Wars versus Baymax from Big Hero 6. Though they may look like cute little teddy bears, the Ewoks would not hesitate to eat you if they got the chance. On the other hand, Baymax is a walking, talking marshmallow with a nursing degree. Baymax is gonna win this one. Wally from Wally versus baby Simba from The Lion King. Simba is a baby lion, which makes him undeniably very cute, but Wally is a hopeless romantic who takes care of a houseplant that lives in a boot, all while having one of the most adorable voices of all time. Pua from Moana versus Piglet from Winnie the Pooh. This is the Battle of the Pigs, and it's brought to you by Jimmy Dean Breakfast Sausages. Tasty good. Pua is very lovable, but he's got barely any personality. Piglet, on the other hand, doesn't rely only on his looks to get by. His sweet and nervous demeanor makes him a heavy hitter. Thumper from Bambi versus Dot from A Bug's Life. Thumper is adorable when he's little, but once he gets bigger, he's way too obsessed with chasing tail to be considered cute. Dot, on the other hand, has some attitude that could be seen as obnoxious, but how big her eyes are will be just enough to push her through to the next round. Kirby from the Kirby series versus Chip from Beauty and the Beast. These two are pretty much even when it comes down to their physical traits. Kirby, however, doesn't ask any questions, which helps keep him away from becoming annoying. I'm sorry, Chip, it's nothing personal. Puss in Boots from the Shrek series versus Pascal from Tangled. Even though Puss in Boots is a wanted criminal, he can make that very, very cute face. And though Pascal can be cute, his base attitude seems to be one of annoyance, and I honestly don't need that kind of energy in my life right now. Bruni from Frozen 2 versus Doug from Up. Bruni's big eyes and little flicking tongue have a certain cuteness about them, but Doug is relatable, kind, loving, fluffy, and he can't accidentally set me on fire. This one is an easy choice. Squirt from Finding Nemo versus the Porgs from Star Wars. The Porgs were destined to lose this matchup. Their movie plays off their death as something that is funny. Can you imagine if there was a scene in Finding Nemo where somebody killed, cooked, and almost ate Squirt? Me neither. This is another easy choice. Flounder from The Little Mermaid versus Dumbo from Dumbo. Ariel's best buddy is fun, but he can be a bit of a killjoy, whereas Dumbo has giant ears, giant eyes, a huge heart, and that tiny little hat. BB-8 from Star Wars versus Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon. Both of these characters have a lot of attitude. It's going to come down to the fact that I would much rather be in a room with BB-8 because I am less likely to be blown up in that situation. Mort from Madagascar versus Pikachu from the Pokemon series. Unfortunately, no one was going to be able to compete with Mort's eyes, not even the mascot of one of the most successful IPs of all time. I'm sorry, Pikachu, you just had a bad position in the draft. We'll get him next time. And finishing out the first round, Hello Kitty from Hello Kitty versus Totoro from My Neighbor Totoro. As whimsical as Totoro is, it's impossible to deny the fact that he has moments where he is a bit scary. So even though Hello Kitty isn't actually a cat, its adorable giant head will be moving on. Round 2. Gizmo from Gremlins versus Boo from Monsters Inc. Gizmo is really an icon when it comes down to the cute characters that have been created over the last few decades. But he really can't get away from the fact that if you don't feed him at the right time of day, he can turn into an evil monster. Boo, on the other hand, is a small child. Sure, in real life, they might have moments that they're frustrating, but in this movie, this kid is perfect. So just as much as she's melted the hearts of Sully and Mike, she will be melting Gizmo's chances to move on to the next round. The Hatchlings from Angry Birds versus Blanky from The Brave Little Toaster. It really just comes down to looks on this one. Blanky is cute and adorable, but he is very plain looking. If we look at the Hatchlings, they've got a lot going on. Mostly those giant eyes. For just measuring eyes, this one is an easy contest. The Hatchlings are moving on. Baymax from Big Hero 6 versus Wally from Wally. As big and soft as Baymax is, he really doesn't have that much of a personality. Now, personality is a position where Wally comes out in spades. Though his vocabulary may be limited, his ability to make you fall in love with him is not. Wally will be moving on to the next round. Piglet from Winnie the Pooh versus Dot from A Bug's Life. His cautious, sweet demeanor will only get him so far when we take into account, again, those beady little eyes. Dot's eyes are huge and take up most of her body, and as we all know, giant eyes automatically make a character more cute. Plus, it doesn't help that Piglet has recently been turned into a serial killer. Sorry, Piglet, back to the 100 Acre Woods with ya. Kirby from the Kirby series versus Puss in Boots from the Shrek series. Kirby's simple design is going to be one of the things that helps push him through to the next round. He's easy to draw, he's pink, and his voice is super adorable. And though yes, Puss in Boots can be cute at times, there are also times where he can look like an unkempt 30-year-old who is getting over a huge breakup. Sorry, Puss in Boots, you are our favorite fearless hero, but you will not be moving on to the next round. Doug from Up versus Squirt from Finding Nemo. This one could be another upset with Doug pulling out a win against this little turtle. Sure, he swims around and talks like a surfer, but he's really just a one-trick pony. Doug, on the other hand, has undeniable layers, and you can't help but root for the little guy. I mean, look at his face when he's sad. How in the world could you vote against him? Dumbo from Dumbo versus BB-8 from Star Wars. Let's be honest, BB-8 can be a bit of a punk, and only made it to this round because he went up against Toothless, who was even more of a punk. When you put him up against Dumbo, it's undeniable which one is cuter. I mean, this little baby elephant just melts your heart. Then finishing out round 2, we have Mort from Madagascar versus Hello Kitty. Just like BB-8 last round, Hello Kitty only managed to squeak into this round because of who she went up against. Totoro was an easy win, but Mort, on the other hand, is a super heavy hitter. His eyes are huge, he has an adorable voice, and at this point we all know that is a winning combination. Round 3. Boo from Monsters Inc. versus the Hatchlings from Angry Birds. These Hatchlings are adorable, sure, but what personality do they have? Nothing when it's compared to Boo. She's sweet, she's brave, and she's so cute that she completely changes the way that the monster world collects its energy. Wally from Wally versus Dot from A Bug's Life. Dot's coming into this battle with that little kid rambunctious spirit, and unfortunately that's going to be a negative for her here. Wally has all of the positive attributes of a child without being annoying. He's curious, he loves unconditionally, he wants to do what's right, and he's saving the world. Name something this guy can't do. Kirby from the Kirby series versus Doug from Up. We've avoided talking about it for as long as we can. It's weird that Kirby just eats people. Doug, on the other hand, does not eat people. He's distracted by squirrels. That's what's most known about him. It's relatable. We like that about him. And it's going to get him to the next round. Dumbo from Dumbo versus Mort from Madagascar. Mort has been cleaning up in every round that he has come into, but that is going to stop here. His giant eyes may be huge, but they pale in comparison to the eyes on Dumbo, and the eyes on that elephant are not even the main thing we're looking at. He's got those giant ears that help him fly. He gets dressed up into silly costumes. He's got a mama that loves him. My goodness, give me a reason not to vote for Dumbo in this matchup. Round 4. Boo from Monsters Inc. versus Wally from Wally. Wally, I'm sorry, but we're going to have to say goodbye at this point. As far as robots go, you are undeniably the cutest of all of them. Trust me, this wasn't an easy decision, but I'm going to have to go with Boo on this one. Everything about her just oozes sweetness. I mean, the fact that she can turn Billy Crystal around and have him like her by the end of the movie, goodness, anything is possible. Doug from Up versus Dumbo from Dumbo. It's hard to pick between these two because they are, again, both so undeniably adorable. But Doug is going to pull away with it. He's a companion who makes you better. No one could really describe it any better than Carl does in the Disney Plus originals featuring the character.
You are my pet, but you are also my best friend.
And though I do love Dumbo, he's not going to be able to compete with that. So run home to mama, little elephant. Run home. You're done here. Round 5. Boo from Monsters, Inc. versus Doug from Up. We should have known that it was going to end up like this. As wonderful as all of these fantastical, mythical characters and creatures are, none of them compare to the real-world cuteness of a young child and a dog. I know no matter what I pick, most of you will be mad at me here, and so I really just have to follow my heart. And for that reason, and all of the reasons listed earlier in this video, I will be going with Boo for my winner as the cutest character ever created. And so that will conclude my Tournament of Cuteness. Who is the cutest character in your opinion? Is there anybody I didn't even put in the tournament that I really should have had in there? You know, should we do a second tournament, right? Maybe there's enough cute characters out there. I'd definitely be interested in doing that. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time with another ranking